The transport ship carrying Ambassador Kate Morgan docked at Nexus Prime Station with a soft hiss. She stepped into the corridor and felt the weight of 1,000 eyes on her. Aliens of every shape and size watched the human delegation pass. Some whispered. Others simply stared with expressions that could have been curiosity or contempt. Kate had been to the council chambers many times before, but today felt different. The message had been clear: this was not a routine meeting. This was a trial. Her assistant, Jack Peterson, walked beside her, his face pale. "They know," he whispered. "They have to know." "Then we deal with it," Kate replied quietly. She straightened her uniform and kept walking. Fear was a luxury they could not afford. The council chamber was massive, built to accommodate beings from 4 to 7 different worlds. Crystal pillars rose toward a dome that showed the stars beyond. In the center sat the High Chancellor, a being made entirely of glowing light housed in a containment field. Around the circular chamber sat representatives from every major civilization in the galaxy. Kate took her place at the human podium. It was positioned low, almost at floor level. A reminder that humanity was young, small, and insignificant in the eyes of these ancient races. The High Chancellor's voice echoed through the chamber without need for speakers. "Humanity stands accused of crimes against galactic law. You have violated the Dark Matter Accords, a treaty that has maintained peace for 10,000 years. Kate said nothing. Not yet. A massive figure rose from one of the elevated platforms. General Vaughn of the Krell hegemony. His species had conquered half the galaxy before the Council even existed. He was covered in thick armor-like skin, and his 6 eyes burned with anger. "Our sensors detected dark matter signatures in your home system," Vaughn growled. "Unauthorized energy patterns that match weapons development. Do you deny this?" Kate looked up at him. "I request clarification. What specific readings are you referring to?" "Do not play games, human." Vaughn slammed his fist on his podium. The sound boomed through the chamber. "We have evidence. Your species has been experimenting with dark matter technology. This is forbidden. This is dangerous. This could destroy us all." Murmurs spread through the council. Some species chittered nervously. Others remained silent, watching. Another figure spoke. This one was from the ancient Vex, a race so old that they remembered when the first stars were born. The Vex representative spoke slowly, each word carefully chosen. "The Dark Matter Accords were written in blood. Civilizations fell because they thought they could control dark matter. They were wrong. The energy is too unstable, too powerful. It tears reality itself." Kate listened carefully. She had studied the Accords for months, preparing for this moment. "I understand the Council's concerns," she said calmly. "But I must ask, has humanity actually violated any specific clause of the Accords?" "You have conducted experiments." Vaughn roared. "The Accords forbid weaponization," Kate replied. "They say nothing about research. Do not split words with us, primitive." Another council member stood, this one from the Luminous Collective. "Your species joined this council only 150 years ago. You are children playing with forces you cannot comprehend." Kate felt her jaw tighten, but she kept her voice level. "With respect, council members, humanity requests a formal hearing. Give us 30 days to present our case and our evidence." "Evidence?" The High Chancellor's light pulsed brighter. "What evidence could possibly justify breaking the most sacred law in galactic history?" "Evidence that changes everything," Kate said quietly. The chamber fell silent. Every eye, every sensor, every consciousness turned toward the small human woman standing alone against the combined power of the galaxy. General Vaughn leaned forward. "What are you hiding, human?" Kate met his gaze without flinching. "Give us 30 days. I promise you will understand." The council members looked at each other. Discussions happened in languages Kate could not understand. Finally, the High Chancellor spoke. 30 days. You will return with your evidence. If we are not satisfied, humanity will dismantle all dark matter research immediately. If you refuse, we will dismantle it for you. Do you understand?" "Perfectly," Kate said. "This session is concluded." As Kate and Jack walked back toward their ship, Jack finally spoke. "They're going to find the fleet. The Krell have the best sensors in the galaxy. They'll scan the outer system and they'll find exactly what we want them to find," Kate interrupted. 50 warships hidden in the Oort cloud. And then the real conversation begins. "You want them to find the ships?" Kate smiled grimly. "We're not playing their game anymore, Jack. It's time they played ours. Behind them, the council chamber buzzed with activity. War fleets were already being mobilized. Intelligence networks activated. The Krell began plotting courses toward Earth. None of them realized that humanity had been preparing for this moment for years. None of them understood what was really coming. And none of them knew the truth about the dark matter accords, the terrible secret that humanity had discovered in the ruins beyond known space. The clock was ticking. 30 days until everything changed. Dr. Robert Hayes stared at the equations on his screen and laughed. His team looked at him like he had gone crazy. "What's funny?" asked Dr. Emily Ward, his second-in-command. They had been working for 18 hours straight in the research facility on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. "We've been doing it wrong the whole time," Robert said, still smiling. "No, wait. Everyone else has been doing it wrong. We just didn't realize it until now." Emily walked over and looked at his screen. The equations were messy, full of corrections and crossed-out sections. They looked nothing like the clean, perfect mathematics that the elder races used. "This is chaos," she said. "Exactly," Robert replied. "That's the point." 3 years earlier, humanity had discovered strange readings near Neptune. Energy patterns that should not exist. When they investigated, they found something impossible, naturally occurring dark matter that was almost stable. The council races had studied dark matter for thousands of years. Their approach was always the same: careful mathematics, slow experiments, detailed planning. Every test took decades. Every calculation had to be perfect. Humanity tried that method for 6 months. It did not work. Then Robert had an idea. What if they were thinking about it wrong? What if dark matter did not follow the rules they expected? "Look at Earth's history," Robert had told his team back then. "Ice ages came without warning. Diseases appeared from nowhere. Volcanoes exploded. Asteroids hit us. We survived because we learned to adapt, to think fast, to see patterns in chaos." "What does that have to do with dark matter?" someone asked. "Maybe everything," Robert said. He threw away the careful plans. Instead of perfect equations, he used probability models. Instead of slow tests, he ran hundreds of quick experiments. Instead of trying to control dark matter completely, he learned to guide it, like surfing a wave instead of building a dam. It worked. Within 2 years, humanity could stabilize dark matter for short periods. Within 3 years, they could weaponize it. Within 5 years, they had built the first warship. The UHSN Defiance could bend space itself. It could create small wormholes, move faster than anything in the galaxy, and manipulate gravity like a toy. And it was just the first. Now, in 2547, 50 such warships sat hidden in the Oort cloud, the dark region beyond Pluto where ice and rock drifted in eternal night. Emily brought Robert back to the present moment. "The council knows we're doing something. Kate is facing them right now." "Let them know," Robert said. "They need to understand what's coming." But understanding came faster than anyone expected. 2 days after Kate's appearance before the council, Krell sensor ships arrived at the edge of the Sol system. General Vaughn had sent his best intelligence vessels, equipped with scanners that could detect a pin dropping on Mars from beyond Jupiter. They found the fleet immediately. The emergency transmission reached Earth within hours. General Vaughn's face filled the screens in every government building on the planet. "You lied to us," Vaughn said, his voice cold with fury. "You did not just experiment. You built weapons. 50 warships equipped with dark matter technology. This is an act of war." Kate stood in the Earth Defense Command Center, surrounded by military leaders and government officials. Admiral David Reed stood beside her, a veteran commander who had trained on the new warships. "We built them for defense," Kate said calmly. "Defense?" Vaughn laughed, a harsh sound. "Against whom? You are surrounded by peaceful civilizations. The only threat to humanity is humanity itself." "That's not true," Kate said. "But I cannot explain over an open channel. Come to Earth. See the evidence yourself." "I am coming to Earth," Vaughn replied. "With a battle fleet. You have 48 hours to power down those warships and prepare for inspection. If you refuse, we will consider it an act of aggression." The transmission ended. Admiral David looked at Kate. "Do we power down?" "No," Kate said firmly. "We show them what these ships can do. Not as a threat. As a demonstration." "They'll see it as a threat anyway," David warned. "Let them," Kate replied. "They need to see that we're not the children they think we are. And they need to understand that we built these ships for a reason." Robert Hayes watched the conversation from Europa. He thought about the ruins humanity had found beyond known space. The ancient warnings carved in stone. The images of destroyed civilizations. The name that appeared again and again, Void Architects. The Council had been hiding the truth for 10,000 years. They had created the dark matter accords not to protect the galaxy from itself, but to hide from something far worse. And that something was waking up. Robert pulled up his latest sensor data. Deep space readings from the galactic core. Energy signatures that matched the patterns described in the ancient ruins. The Void Architects were real. They were coming. And the Council's policy of hiding and staying weak would doom everyone. Humanity had broken the rules not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. They had seen the truth and made a choice: build weapons that might save the galaxy, or follow laws that would ensure extinction. The Krell battle fleet was coming. In 48 hours, there would be a confrontation near Jupiter. Humanity's dark matter warships would face the most powerful military force in known space. Robert hoped they were ready. Because if they failed, there would be no second chance. The real enemy was already on its way. The council chamber was filled beyond capacity. Every species in the galaxy had sent representatives. This was not a normal session. This was a crisis that could lead to galactic war. Kate Morgan stood at the human podium once again, but this time she was not alone. Behind her stood Admiral David Reed and Dr. Robert Hayes. They had brought something with them. Something that would change everything. General Vaughn spoke first, his voice booming through the massive chamber. Humanity has 48 hours to surrender its illegal warships. This deadline expires in 6 hours. The Council demands your answer now. Kate took a deep breath. Before I answer, I need to show you something. Something we discovered 2 years ago in deep space. More delays, shouted a representative from the Luminous Collective. More excuses. Please, Kate said firmly. Just watch. The lights in the chamber dimmed. A holographic projection filled the center of the room. It showed a planet, dark and cold, drifting between galaxies where no planet should exist. This is designation Omega 7, Robert explained. A rogue planet that was ejected from its home system millions of years ago. Our deep space probe found it by accident while mapping dark matter fields. The image zoomed closer, showing the planet's surface. Massive structures covered the landscape. Cities made of metal and stone that stretched for hundreds of miles. But they were ruins. Dead. Abandoned. Who built this? Asked the ancient Vex representative, leaning forward with sudden interest. We don't know, Robert continued. But they left messages. Warnings carved into every structure in 40 different languages. The hologram shifted, showing close-ups of alien writing on massive walls. Human translators had spent months decoding them. The same message repeated over and over. Kate read it aloud. They come from the core. They harvest the advanced. They sleep between cycles. Hide your light or face extinction. Silence filled the chamber. The kind of silence that happens when everyone knows something terrible is being revealed. What does this mean? Demanded General Vaughn, but his voice had lost some of its anger. It means, Kate said slowly, that the dark matter accords were never about protecting the galaxy from war. They were about hiding from something else. Something that hunts civilizations that become too advanced. The High Chancellor's light pulsed rapidly, a sign of agitation. This is speculation. Ancient ruins prove nothing. We thought so too, Kate replied. Until we translated the rest of the messages. They describe a machine intelligence that lives at the galactic core. An intelligence that wakes every 50,000 years to eliminate any species that has grown too powerful. They call them the Void Architects. More murmuring spread through the council. Some species looked confused. Others looked afraid. A few looked angry. The Void Architects track civilizations by their energy signatures, Robert added. Specifically, dark matter signatures. When a species learns to manipulate dark matter, it acts like a beacon. The architects detect it and send their machines to eliminate the threat. Kate stepped forward. That's why the dark matter accords exist. Your ancestors, the ones who founded this council 10,000 years ago, they knew. They created the accords to keep every species weak. To keep us all below the detection threshold. Lies, shouted someone from the upper platforms. The accords were created after the dark matter wars destroyed 17 systems. Yes, Kate agreed. But why did those wars happen? We found records in the ruins. Those 17 systems were destroyed by machines from the galactic core. Your ancestors called them wars to hide the truth. They didn't want mass panic. The ancient Vex representative stood slowly. When he spoke, his voice was quiet but everyone listened. Some of us remember the old stories. Tales passed down from our founders. We thought they were myths. Warnings about demons that sleep in the center of the galaxy. They're not myths, Kate said. We have proof. Show them, Robert. The hologram changed again. This time it showed recent sensor data from deep space telescopes. Energy readings from the galactic core. Massive power signatures that had been dormant for thousands of years. 3 months ago, these signatures started increasing, Robert explained. Something at the core is waking up. And it's waking up early. According to the ruins, the cycle should not begin for another 300 years. Why is it early? Asked General Vaughn quietly. Kate looked directly at him. We don't know. Maybe the cycle is speeding up. Maybe something triggered it. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that it's happening now. The Void Architects are coming. The chamber erupted in chaos. Some species demanded more proof. Others called for immediate military preparation. A few simply refused to believe. The High Chancellor tried to restore order. Even if this is true, you have made it worse. Your dark matter experiments will draw them directly to us. They were already coming. Kate shouted over the noise. That's what you don't understand. We detected their scout probes 3 weeks ago. They're already in the outer regions of the galaxy. Hiding won't save us this time. They're coming whether we're ready or not. Admiral David stepped forward. We have 2 choices. We can follow the old ways, stay weak, and die quietly. Or we can fight back with everything we have. Fight. General Vaughn shook his head. You cannot fight the Void Architects. No one can. That's why we hide. You've been hiding for 10,000 years, Kate replied. And where has it gotten you? You've stagnated. Every species in this council has been held back, kept weak, all to avoid detection. But they found us anyway. The only question now is, do we die on our knees or standing up? The ancient Vex representative spoke again. If what you say is true, humanity has doomed us all. Your warships have already sent out dark matter signatures. The architects know we're here. Then we might as well use those warships, Kate said firmly. Because hiding time is over. Within 24 hours, the Galactic Council tore itself apart. The Luminous Collective refused to believe Kate's evidence. They called it a human trick, a desperate lie to avoid punishment. They formed the denial bloc and demanded that humanity's warships be destroyed immediately. 12 species joined them. The older, more cautious civilizations formed the submission bloc. They believed the Void Architects were real, but they wanted to destroy all dark matter technology and return to hiding. We survived 10,000 years by being quiet, their leader argued. We can survive 10,000 more. 15 species stood with them. But the younger species, the ones who had joined the council in the last 1,000 years, were tired of being told to stay weak. They formed the resistance bloc and sided with humanity. We're tired of hiding, their representatives declared. If we're going to die, we'll die fighting. 20 species joined them, including some that surprised everyone. General Vaughn and the Krell hegemony remained neutral. But they sent a battle fleet toward Earth anyway. 300 warships, the largest military force ever assembled in one place. Admiral David Reed stood on the bridge of the UHSN Defiance, watching the Krell fleet approach Jupiter. His crew was tense but ready. Around him floated the other 49 human warships, dark and silent in the void of space. They are hailing us, said Commander Lisa Bennett, his communications officer. Put them through, David replied. General Vaughn's face appeared on the main screen. Admiral Reed. I am here to inspect your vessels. You will power down your weapons and allow my boarding teams access. If you refuse, I will consider it an act of war. David looked at the Krell commander. They had fought together once, years ago, against pirates in the Outer Rim. Vaughn was a warrior, but he was also practical. He could be reasoned with. I have a better idea, David said. Let me show you what these ships can do. Then you can decide if you want to fight us or join us. Vaughn's eyes narrowed. You think a demonstration will intimidate the Krell? We have fought for 5,000 years. We fear nothing. I'm not trying to intimidate you, David replied. I'm trying to save your life. Watch. He nodded to his tactical officer, Lieutenant Tom Grant. Begin the demonstration. The UHSN Defiance activated its dark matter core. Space around the ship began to shimmer and bend. The Krell sensors went wild, detecting energy patterns they had never seen before. The human warship moved. But it did not move like normal ships. It folded space around itself and appeared 10,000 kilometers away in an instant. No acceleration. No time delay. It simply moved from one point to another as if the distance between them did not exist. Impossible, someone on Vaughn's bridge whispered. The demonstration continued. The Defiance created a small wormhole and sent a probe through it. The probe appeared on the other side of Jupiter's orbit in seconds. Then the ship bent gravity itself, creating a field so strong that nearby asteroids began to curve toward it before the field released them harmlessly. The Krell fleet did not move. They simply watched, unable to believe what they were seeing. "This is just one ship," David said calmly. "We have 50. And we're building more every day. General Vaughn, I'm not your enemy. But I won't let you destroy the only weapons we have against what's coming." Before Vaughn could respond, every sensor on every ship screamed in alarm. Lieutenant Grant's face went pale. "Sir, we're getting readings from deep space. Multiple signatures. High energy. Moving fast." "Where?" David demanded. "Sagittarius Arm. 3-star systems. They're going dark, sir. All communications just stopped." David felt his blood run cold. He looked at the screen where Vaughn's face had gone rigid. "The Void Architects," Vaughn said quietly. "They're real." "Yes," David replied. "And they're here." The Krell fleet and the human warships received the same data simultaneously. 3 solar systems, home to billions of beings, had simply stopped broadcasting. No distress calls. No warnings. Just silence. Kate Morgan's voice came through on the emergency channel from Nexus Prime. "All ships, this is Ambassador Morgan. The Council has received confirmation. Void Architect scout probes have entered the galaxy. First contact has occurred. Initial reports indicate complete system failure in all 3 locations." General Vaughn stared at the data for a long moment. Then he made a decision. "Admiral Reed," he said formally. "The Krell hegemony requests permission to join your fleet." David felt relief wash over him. "Permission granted, General. Welcome aboard." "How many of these warships can humanity build?" Vaughn asked. "As many as we need," David answered. "But we'll need your help. Your shipyards, your resources, your expertise." "You'll have it," Vaughn said. "All of it. But I need to know, can we win?" David looked at his crew, then back at Vaughn. "I don't know. But we're going to try." Within hours, the Resistance bloc officially became the Coalition of Free Worlds. Humanity shared its dark matter technology freely with anyone willing to fight. The great shipyards of Earth, Mars, and the Krell home systems began working non-stop, building warships as fast as they could. The Denial bloc and Submission bloc protested, but their voices grew quieter each day. More systems went dark. More probes appeared at the edges of known space. Kate stood in the new Coalition Command Center on Nexus Prime, watching screens that showed the galaxy burning. 30 days, she said to Jack, who stood beside her. "We asked for 30 days to prove our case. We got it in the worst way possible. What do we do now?" Jack asked. Kate straightened her shoulders. "Now we fight. And we pray it's enough." The Coalition of Free Worlds formed faster than anyone thought possible. Within 3 weeks, humanity had trained over 2,000 alien crew members on dark matter warship operations. The Krell provided weapons and armor. The younger species offered their fast ships for reconnaissance. Everyone contributed something. Admiral David Reed commanded the first Coalition fleet from the bridge of the UHSN Defiance. General Vaughn stood beside him as second-in-command, something that would have been unthinkable a month ago. Captain Lisa Bennett led the experimental wing with 15 prototype warships. Commander Tom Grant coordinated the mixed-species crews, which was harder than fighting any battle. The humans worked in ways that made the elder races uncomfortable. Where alien commanders wanted detailed plans, humans preferred flexibility. Where aliens spent days analyzing data, humans made quick decisions based on instinct. Where aliens sought perfection, humans accepted good enough to work. "This is chaos," Vaughn muttered, watching human engineers modify a Krell cruiser in just 3 days. "It should take months to integrate new systems." "Chaos works for us," David replied with a slight smile. "You'll see." The real test came when Void Architect probes reached the outer rim, only 2 months after the first systems went dark. Long-range sensors detected 15 massive objects moving through space at incredible speeds. They were heading straight for a populated system called New Haven, home to 4 billion people. All ships, David announced across the fleet channel. This is it. Battle stations. Remember your training. Remember why we're here. The Coalition fleet jumped to New Haven and arrived just as the probes entered the system. Each probe was the size of a small moon, covered in black metal that seemed to absorb light itself. They moved with terrible purpose, ignoring the civilian ships fleeing in panic. What are they? Lisa asked from her ship. Harvesters, Robert Hayes answered from his position in the fleet science vessel. They're designed to eliminate advanced civilizations. According to the ruins, they break down entire planets for resources. Not today, David said coldly. All ships, engage at will. The battle began. The Coalition fleet attacked from multiple directions. Human dark matter warships folded space, appearing behind the probes and unleashing energy weapons that tore through their armor. Krell heavy cruisers provided devastating firepower, their massive cannons punching holes in the probe hulls. The younger species' fast attack wings harassed the probes from all sides, confusing their targeting systems. But the probes fought back with technology that was 50,000 years old. They fired beams of pure energy that could vaporize a ship in seconds. They released swarms of smaller machines that attached to Coalition vessels and began tearing them apart. They adapted to every tactic, learning and evolving in real time. They are too strong, someone shouted over the communication channel. We can't hurt them. Yes, we can. David replied. Tom, initiate pattern Delta 7. Lisa, hit them with everything you've got. Vaughn, bring your cruisers around their flank. We overwhelm them, we don't outthink them. It was pure human strategy, attack from everywhere at once, never give the enemy time to adapt, keep moving and changing tactics. The elder races would have called it reckless. But it worked. The dark matter warships created small wormholes that disrupted the probe's quantum networks. The Krell cruisers fired synchronized volleys that overloaded their shields. The fast attack wings targeted weak points that the probes couldn't defend all at once. One probe exploded in a blast of white light. Then another. Then 3 more. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, all 15 probes were destroyed. The Coalition had lost 42 ships and 3,000 crew members. But New Haven was saved. On the bridge of the Defiance, the crew celebrated. David and Vaughn clasped hands, the human admiral and the Krell general united in victory. We won, Vaughn said, something like wonder in his voice. We actually won. We won one battle, David corrected. The war is just starting. He was right. Over the next month, more probes appeared. The Coalition fought them at 12 different systems, winning 8 battles and losing 4. They learned with each fight. Human tactics combined with alien technology created strategies the Void Architects had never faced before. The galaxy began to unite. Even some members of the Denial Bloc quietly joined the Coalition when they realized the threat was real. The Submission Bloc grew smaller each day as their arguments about hiding became meaningless. Kate Morgan stood before the Reformed Council, no longer as a defendant but as a leader. For 10,000 years, you hid in the darkness, she said. You kept yourselves weak, hoping to be overlooked. You told yourselves it was wisdom. It was fear. She paused, looking at each representative. Humanity doesn't hide. We fight. We take risks. We fail and we learn and we try again. That's what makes us different. And now, together, we all fight. The council voted. For the first time in 10,000 years, they changed the dark matter accords. Dark matter technology was no longer forbidden. It was mandatory. Every species would build warships. Every world would prepare for war. Admiral David stood in the observation deck of the Fleet Command Station, watching new warships being built in orbit around Earth. Hundreds of them, with more launching every week. The great forges never stopped. Robert joined him, carrying data pads filled with sensor readings. I have the latest scans from the Galactic core, he said quietly. David looked at the data and felt his hope fade slightly. The energy signatures at the core were getting stronger. Much stronger. The probes they had been fighting were just scouts. The real Void Architect fleet was still sleeping in the depths of space. How many? David asked. Millions, Robert replied. Maybe tens of millions. The probes were testing us. The real invasion hasn't even started yet. David stared at the numbers for a long moment. Then he straightened his shoulders. Then we'd better build faster. Deep in the galactic core, 50,000 light-years from Earth, massive structures began to wake from their ancient sleep. They had slept through countless cycles, eliminating hundreds of civilizations that grew too advanced. They were patient. They were eternal. They were unstoppable. But for the first time in 50,000 years, they had encountered prey that fought back. Prey that won battles. Prey that refused to hide or surrender. The Void Architects analyzed the data from their destroyed probes. They studied the tactics, the technology, the determination of these new creatures called humans and their allies. And then they began to mobilize their true strength. The real war was coming. A war that would decide the fate of every living being in the galaxy. A war between the ancient machines and the young civilizations that dared to stand against them. Humanity had shaken the Galactic Council. Now they would shake the galaxy itself. The battle for survival had only just begun.